everyone, it's Nicole, and I'm excited to share this next episode with you all. The following episode was recorded in March 2022 with one of Southern Steep's past co-hosts and guests, Justine Ingram. We speak with Mulan Montrese Williams. Mulan recently spoke during NASTAD's Our Story, Our Resilience plenary at NASTAD's Southern CBO Summit. She's also featured in a video centering resiliency, which you can find in this episode's show notes. Also, be sure to check out the episode on the Southern CBO Summit coming soon. All right, I'm going to stop talking now and let's bring on the episode.
Welcome to Southern Steep, the public health and social justice podcast brought to you by NASTAD, a nonprofit, nonpartisan association mission to end the intersecting epidemics of HIV, viral hepatitis, and related conditions. Much like brewing stronger tea, this platform aims to brew a stronger community by centering community leaders' voices and their innovative work in the Southern United States.
All right, welcome back to Southern Steep. This is Justine, and I'm here with the lovely Nicole. Say hey, Nicole.
Hey, Justine. It's good to see you today.
I know, it's been a minute. We filmed together on the last season, so I'm super excited. I love filming with you.
It's a good time. It's been a minute and a half, and really happy to be here, reunited together, and about to have a really great conversation.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about who we're about to have this conversation with. I'm really excited to introduce Mulan Montrese Williams, and I'm about to share her bio because it's all about giving flowers when flowers is due. And sometimes it feels a little interesting hearing your bio read, but she has a lot of incredible things going on. So Mulan Montrese Williams identifies as a powerful Black trans woman. She is over trans services for Miracle of Love, as well as the director of Divas in Dialogue, which is a trans organization that offers a support group as well as life skills courses for trans women of color. Before joining the staff at the multicultural AIDS service organization Miracle of Love, Mulan volunteered for the group by providing outreach on the streets and in clubs. As a former sex worker, she understands what her community needs. She provides HIV testing, linkage to care, hormone therapy, mental health, PrEP, and now housing. Along with that, she opens her home as a safe haven to trans sex workers, offering them condoms, bottled water, clothes, and emotional support. Welcome, Mulan.
Welcome, Mulan.
How are you?
Good.
We're so happy. Is this your first podcast?
No, not my first podcast. I think it's like my second or third, but my first with you guys. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
We're excited to have you. And, Justine, we have someone with a little experience on our hands.
Yes. Maybe Mulan will be showing us little tips and tricks, so.
And for those that don't see Mulan, she has an amazing red, burgundy lip on. Mm-hmm. She's got a lot to share.
Mulan always gives looks though for all of our listeners, fashion icon. So
always, absolutely. Mulan, is there anything from that bio that any additional things that wasn't on that bio that you'd like our listeners to know?
I think that pretty much summed it up. We're always doing something for life skills. We have the Safe Haven, the new housing program. So yeah, that's everything.
Tell us a little bit more about Divas in Dialogue. How did you come up with the name? Tell us a little bit about how you got to that journey.
To be honest, it was, I can't say what I wanted to call it. We have Bros in Combo. So, I was just joking around and I was like, well, I'm going to start one called It Rhymes with Bros in Combo for the women. And they were like, girl, calm down, Miss T. So then I just was looking up words that could go with combo because I really took this after, I love Daniel's group, Daniel Downer's group so much. And I wanted something like that for the trans women. So then I just came up with Divas in Dialogue. But it was a funny story getting there.
I love how like some of these program names take such a long journey, and the brainstorm process is always a lot of fun. For those that are not familiar with Bros in Convo, Daniel was on Southern Steep back in season 1, and definitely encourage our listeners to look back and learn more about his incredible organization and the work they're doing. But back to Divas in Dialogue, you mentioned wanting to have a space for trans women in dialogue, but can you tell us a little bit more about your why? What brought you to this work?
So many things, but the main reason is because I wanted to do something, my past is sex work. I have a background record that will make your eyes pop out. I've been arrested so many times and everything, and I've been raped, I've been through getting beat, robbed, all of that things. And I wanted to do something that wasn't available to me when I was younger. And then we're going into a world where we're being more accepted now. So, this was the great time to let's teach life skills. I want to do something so the younger generation of trans women don't have to go through what I went through. Because we learn from each other. There's no manual. When I came out, I learned from the older girls. So, this gives me a chance almost to make up for the bad stuff I taught in the past and to give them a better light of the future and try to break the stigma of, our generational curse of sex work. That's the only thing that we can do. I do support sex work, though.
I do, too. Safe sex work, I do.
Yeah, safe sex work.
Yes. And empowerment too, not coercive.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing some of your experience and background. But, also just the generational traumas that have taken place and, having information and access to be able to help, the up and coming, girls and women, coming through. You've mentioned life skills a couple of times. That could mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Can you share a little bit more? What do you mean by life skills?
Life skills from everything from, we start off with the STI class, teaching everything about sexual health, STDs, different ones and everything, where to go to get treatment, how to talk to your doctor. We do resumes, skill building. We teach them how to do resumes. We teach them credit literacy, and especially in the Black community, that's not the main thing that your parents really, for my generation, they didn't talk to us about. You know what I'm saying? Some of the girls didn't even have checking accounts. We do name change. We do body positivity, ways to love yourself more, to accept yourself more. We do. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. So those who are out here who are listening, take a lesson from Milan's book and introduce some life skills that's very much needed, specifically within the transgender community.
Yeah, and it's been a great success. This past group, we had 9 girls graduate. I think 5 or 6 of those girls were sex workers, and now 3 of them have jobs. Wow. And that just it warms my heart to see that it's really working. And I just feel like sometimes in the trans community, we just need someone to care and make us even want to do a difference, which is sad, but it's true in some cases.
And, I always say that when I get the opportunities to speak in front of people or do panels, I always say how important it is for us to invest in our own communities. And the best thing that happened to me was that somebody was like, hey, you come here. What do you want? Let me invest in you. Let me help you out. And now I have the opportunity that I probably wouldn't imagine 10 years ago or even 5 and 6 years ago that I would be in the position I'm in. So definitely keep that up, Milan.
Thank you. And you saying that, it just brings back to how I even got in this position. My boss, Angus Bradshaw, we were friends previous to me working here. And, he just invited me out to lunch one day with Angelica Sanchez. And he was like, hey, if you had a job doing this, what are some of the things you would do to get the people to come in? And I'm looking at him like, you trying to give me a job? Are you serious? And that's how it just started. It's nothing I planned on. It just happened. And I just feel so blessed because, if that wouldn't have happened, I still would have been doing the same things I was doing then. It wouldn't have been a change. So,
a lot of our listeners on the podcast probably know that I'm from Orlando, just like Mulan. And I had the privilege to see Mulan at the beginning of this, testing and counselor journey. She, came to the health department to take her testing and counselor class. And it's just been so amazing to see from the sidelines, like how much you've grown within the community, within your role. And you really are such a role model for the community and providing incredible life-saving work. You're really making a huge difference. Like, legit, it's so cool to see how much you've empowered others. And then the other thing too, Mulan's gotten people jobs, on top of Divas in Dialogue graduates, she's getting other people jobs to expand the work.
Yeah. That's one thing that when I got that opportunity, I was floored. Here I am still every day waking up like, I can't believe I'm going to my job. Still to this day, it's still it's not new anymore because I'm 3 years in, but it's just really, and now I'm going to have employees. I'm able to hire other Black trans women. That does something. That really did something to me. It made me want to get more serious and just take it, more seriously and really appreciate what I have here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Milan. So just kind of switching gears, we know as someone who identifies as a Black trans woman myself and experience a lot of loss, we know that anti-transgender violence is still a major, major issue that is happening within our communities, particularly in the South. So my question to you is, what can we do, or what tactics, or what initiatives, or what can we do to keep our community members safe?
We first need to support more trans organizations in different places, so they can have a safe place for trans women, so that they can for us, for instance, we work with the Transgender Safety Project with Barbie West and OG King. And we had them come in and do a self-defense class. Before that, Daniel Dino from Bros and Combo, he supplied us with stun guns. And it was so funny with those stun guns because I would be doing outreach different nights and I'd just hear them going off and stuff like that from the girls out there. But I can say we also had classes, on ways that me and my girls back in the day did a little things to keep ourselves safe. For instance, before we got in cars, we used to walk behind it, take a picture of the license plate on the down low, and hurry up and send it to our girlfriends so they know the last car we got in, and just having a buddy system when you are out here. Even if someone's not out here with you, have one of your good friends, let them know that you're out here. Let them know what's going on. Be able to text them your every move, things like that. And I can say we've had... one of the murders here was my best friend, Mahogany, Ashley Sinclair. And boy, I tell you, that hit home. That hit home hard, and me being who I am in the community before I even got this job, my house was already the safe haven. So when this happened, I was the first to know. I was the first to give their name. As soon as they came to me, it's like, hey, stop asking me questions. Is my friend okay? Because y'all do this every time something happens to a trans woman. They come knocking on my door. It's like the police come here first, it seems like. And it's hard, especially when it's your friend. Not just someone your friend. Someone I was just with the day before. Yeah, that shit hurt. Dang.
It does.
I didn't think we were talk about that.
Yeah. And I think, I feel for you, Milan, because I just think that it's hard to talk about, but it's really, really important that we have those conversations. And like a lot for me was, my friends, my friend group, being tragically murdered and stuff. And so it's so important for us to continue to talk about them, continue to talk about our sisters, and continue to bring awareness to know, like, you can't just, disregard us or, throw us to the wayside and think that, we don't have loved ones or that somebody's not going to miss us. So it's hard, but the work you do and continuing to talk about it will make it a lot easier for those who are coming behind us or those who are affected by it as well.
Right. And I also want to say to the trans community, if someone gets killed in your community, you have to stand up and come together. Or nothing will get done. They'll sweep it under the rug. We know this. When this happened to Ashley, our community came together. We put our foot on their necks and we were not letting up. We were not letting up. I mean, not one day went by. We weren't calling. We first had to start with the news stations. You're misgendering my friend. Get it right. Get it right. And then it's just with the police. Hey, did you hear anything? Every day, all day, and let them know that this person is loved. Because sometimes the family's not going to do it. So stand up for your sisters. Stand up for your sisters, and every day until it is solved. Her case was solved, and the guy got 30 years. So we were very grateful for that. But if it happens in your community, stay on the cops. Stay on them.
Stay on them and be that voice, for your loved one after, their death as well, because it's an extra layer to deal with their family and all of that. So this is a little message. Make sure as anybody, make sure that you have your stuff in order and together for after death, because trans women, a lot of times, we may not have, we may have estranged relationships with our families and stuff. So just ensuring that, you have wills, you have stuff written down so we can make sure that we honor you and, keep uplifting your name and respecting you even when you're not here.
Yes. We've also teamed up with Q Latinx with Gabrielle to do that with our girls.
Absolutely. That's wonderful.
And from my understanding, there are other programs that'll help with, there's like the 5 wishes that I think Vitas Hospice has. So that way, because we know that legal representation can be expensive. Having a will be drafted by a quote unquote professional can be really, not available for a lot of folks. But, those 5 wishes is something that is binding. There's other ways that folks can do wills and things.
Absolutely. Great information. So switching to the HIV epidemic specifically in the South. We know Biden administration has put out their plan. So how can we end the HIV epidemic specifically within the trans community?
Education. I really stand strong behind this because I believe it's going to happen by 2030. Yes. Because we have the tools to end HIV right in front of us. We have PrEP, we have PEP, we have U equals U. And what I found out when I got in here, I've learned so much about HIV. I've learned so much about it since I've been in this field. And it's like, we can kill this. We can end it. We can just straight out end it if we just educate everybody and everybody does what they need to do. If you are HIV positive, stay on your medication. Get to an undetectable stage so you can no longer transmit. That's one way. If you are HIV negative, get on PrEP. Let's use the tools that we have so that it really works.
Absolutely. And it's also important for us to go outside of our quote unquote priority populations and making sure that we are bringing that education to our cisgender and heterosexual community members as well. it doesn't just stop with us as LGBT or queer folks or folks that are working in the field. We have a duty to make sure that we are spreading that information and that education to all folks across the country.
Right. And especially in the Black communities. I had a station over at a Walgreens in a Black area here, and doing testing, being trans and being 6'4", they were coming to me, so I took that opportunity to make sure they were educated, and everyone that I tested, they knew nothing about PrEP. They knew nothing about PrEP. Their mouths are just dropping with the information that they're not getting, and the way I broke it down is for they can really understand it, and it's crazy how many people still don't know, but we definitely need to get the word out to everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can remember back, and I love story time, Milan, so feel free. But I can remember back, I was working at the health department in Atlanta, and there was like something going on in the park. And I was trying to go out and like educate the community on PrEP. And the responses that I got, like, I almost was like hyperventilating when I got back into the building, because I was like, what is going on? So yes, make sure you educate all folks about this.
Right, exactly.
Well, and also the more people that know, the less stigma, right? Because then for PrEP, for instance, PrEP's been almost 10 years old now. May 2012 is when PrEP first was FDA approved. And yet there's still so much misinformation about it. And a lot of times people don't think that it's for them. And so there's so much awareness that needs to be raised for providers, for everyone, that PrEP is for anyone that wants to be on it, period, like the end.
Right.
So
and
much.
It's crazy these days. I've been out 10 years. I only heard about it 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it definitely needs to be, a big PCA or something needs to be done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're looking to expand your PrEP knowledge and education, contact Milan. She will help you.
I'm going to ask some questions now. We're just shifting gears left and right. We are on a windy journey. So this is more about your pageant career. You have been a pageant performer, a beauty queen. You have won titles and accolades. Can you share to our listeners what is pageantry and how can pageantry be an opportunity to educate about HIV?
Okay, so I did pageants back in the day, heavier than I do now. I'm just now getting back into it. But the biggest, just like the cisgender pageants, Miss Florida, Miss USA, it's just like that, but for the trans women. And it gives you a chance to just be seen on a broader aspect. It gives you a chance to meet trans women that you never met because they're coming from everywhere to compete. And it just, for me, I just love being on stage. It's just something that being on stage, it was, when I first came out, it was my dream. And recently I was just thinking with all the deaths going on, you have people dying left and right now. COVID is like really taking over and everything. And so I was just like, girl, you're working. What else are you going to do? What are your dreams? And then I just went back to when I first came out and I was like, I'm going to go for it again, and it's been a great ride so far. I have another competition coming up July 12th here in Orlando, Florida, Miss Glamorous Plush. So if you're in Orlando, please get your tickets and come support. It is going to be a great, great pageant. The winner gets $5,000. So it's going to be intense, and I'm trying to kick some butt.
Absolutely.
You got this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, what's so good about if you win the pageant, with you winning, you get a whole new audience. And I plan to use that audience for my organization and, to teach, be glamorous and all that, but still teach, So yeah, a lot comes with it.
And for those of you who don't know, Florida has the best pageant girls. Like Florida, the dolls come from Florida. So
that brings us to a good point. So there's been so much attention right now about ballroom and voguing. And so, like, can you tell us what's the for folks that don't know, what is pageantry versus ballroom versus drag? And Florida is definitely amazing pageant talent, hands down.
Yeah, so it's a difference. Like with the pageant, you'll have to you have to sign up for, you have to show up to registration. Versus a ball, you can just show up because you already know the categories, so you have time to prepare for it. So you can just show up. You have different houses. I'm currently in the House of Ebony. I haven't walked yet, but I am in the house. I just haven't got enough guts yet. But it is very different, but it's also kind of the same. The best thing I like about both is like it's family orientated. You know, you have the house of this, and then just like with the in pageants, you have like the house of the Montrese Williams, you have the house of the Bonets and everything. So it all boils down to it's different, but kind of the same, but it's hand in hand.
You know, chosen family is so important. And we've seen how these houses have really been such a support network for folks. You know, in Pose, they do a really great job in showing how the house is really helping as that emotional support place. And we know that that's so important for, you know, HIV, preventing HIV, just having that type of support. For folks that might not have a relationship with the pageant, you know, folks in pageants or relationships with the ballroom community, but want to get involved, you know, what would you share with them?
Just get out, meet people. You know, once you meet someone, you mesh with them. They're probably already in a family. That's how you can be introduced to that family. You know, I would just say take your time doing it. Because I've seen in the past somebody will come out for the first time and make this person their mother and not even know the person. I say just take your time and get to know people. And get to know different families first to see which one really fits. Which one nurtures you, and which one is just a good fit for you.
Thanks, Milan.
For that chemistry.
One other question. So with the community engagement opportunities, you were sharing how that you can have a whole other platform and a wider reach of folks. But what are some other ways, you know, for education? What are some other opportunities that you could see for like HIV community engagement within like the pageantry community?
Live via Zooms. I can say one thing from just looking at pageants in the past, usually 9 times out of 10, that is their platform to educate people. You know, HIV AIDS is very big in the gay community. So I can say when these pageants get representatives, they really try to educate. And I think that is amazing because you're teaching people that never even been to a community center or anything like that. So it's very educational.
Meeting people where they're at.
Exactly. That's number one, meeting them where they're at and making them feel comfortable and not judged.
So Milan, switching gears again, I want to ask you some more personal questions that are really geared towards the South. So you ready? So my first question to you is, what do you, Milan, love about the South?
It feels like family here. The girls, we come together. I see a big difference just as far as organizations here. We are all working together for the same cause, you know, and we're all doing different things. That way we can all work together. Versus in some places, I see a lot of girls doing the same thing and really not collaborating a lot. So I love that about the South, that it's family oriented. It's just, it feels like family here.
Right. Also, what do you want to see for the South in the future? So your wildest dreams, thinking about it, what do you want to see for the South in the future?
I would love to have services like they have in New York here in Florida. When I traveled to New York to visit the Brooklyn Project, Views and Dialogue was honored there. the things that they are doing up there is just, it's amazing. It's mind blowing, you know, and it's like, they're helping with surgeries, they're helping with housing, they're helping with just everyday living. And it's just so amazing. And I wish that was here. And I'm going to say it is going to be here soon. It's going to happen. It's got to happen.
And speaking of housing, congratulations. I know that you have been a safe haven, and I know that you officially placed one of your sisters or community members back into their apartment back in October. So for those who are interested in implementing housing programs for people living with HIV in marginalized communities, really using that models that areas such as New York has, what can we do here in the South to get that done?
Well, actually, my housing program is for trans women who are HIV negative. And that is because we know that we have HOPWA, and that is for people living with HIV. And that means man, woman, trans woman, that's for them. If they're living with HIV, they have a housing program. And I started my program with money I had from the All Black Lives Fund. And it started because it started for a couple of reasons. The first reason was right before I housed my first girl, someone came to me and they asked for help with housing. And, you know, I had to ask them personal questions to see if they could get HOPWA, and they weren't. And then they asked me, oh, so I have to go get HIV in order to have a safe place to stay. And that kind of messed with me. You know, it stayed with me. And then when our first girl, that we housed kind of said the same thing. And I was just like, okay, I'm tired of doing all these Zoom meetings. I'm tired of doing answering all these questions to other organizations and funders, you know, about what we need. And we keep telling them housing for all, and nothing is happening. So I just did it. I was like, I went to my boss and I asked him, hey, we got this X amount of dollars, and I'm going to do what I can after this money is gone to fundraise. You know, can we please do this? Because it's needed. It's prevention, you know, and that's how the housing program started. And you know, sometimes you just have to do it. You can't just keep talking about the same thing on these Zooms and waiting for someone to help. Sometimes you have to show them what is needed to get their support. And I really hope that's what happens with my program, because we definitely need some more money. But yeah, I sometimes you just have to do it.
Housing is healthcare. Housing is prevention.
It is. It very much is. And when someone comes to you and just like and are serious, like, oh, so I have to go catch HIV just to get housing, that hits different. Especially when you know they're kind of serious. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is that what I have to do? You know?
And people have done that.
Yeah, I've heard that in the past. And I heard, yeah. Yeah.
For folks that want to start an initiative similar to what you all have started and are working on doing, what advice would you share with them?
It's not easy. It is stressful. It gets hard. Doors will close. But you remember why you started it, and that will keep you going, and someone will see your vision. And remember that sometimes you have to show them. I started doing a lot of things out of my own pocket. Until my boss caught wind of it and it was like, don't do that anymore. I'm here to support. And my boss, Angus, has been, oh my God, he's been amazing. So I say you just got to do it. You know, even if you don't have a lot of support, just start doing something. Someone is going to see if you're doing it from your heart. Someone is going to see, and you're going to get the support eventually.
Absolutely. So Milan, how can people get into touch with you and learn more information about your program? So where can we find Milan at?
I am on Facebook under Milan Montrese Williams. You also could follow us on Facebook on Divas in Dialogue. My number is everywhere for anyone is 321-278-0473. If you'd like to support us financially, you can go to the Miracle of Love site and go to the donate page, go down, hit a button and scroll down to Divas in Dialogue, or you can cash app us at Divas in Dialogue. Money sign Divas in Dialogue. Yeah.
Oh, you got it together, Milan.
Yeah. Girl needs some help. And speaking of pageantry, that's what we're getting ready for now. Last year, an organization in Atlanta started a pageant for young trans activists. So that was their first year. And our first year we went, and my employee, Yanni Moore, she won. So now,
Yanni.
yes, so it's time for her to give it up. And it's also time we're letting our young diva, Rashida Fox, run this year. So we're trying to get our coins up so we can travel there and hopefully win again.
Well, I was there at the pageant last year, and Florida was definitely in the building in Atlanta.
Yes.
Like it was, y'all, and Milan was cheerleading on the side and like clapping and standing up. Like it was a vibe. It was a vibe. So.
Yeah. We're trying to do that this year again. So we need all the support we can get.
Absolutely.
Well, we will make sure we put your information, how to get in contact, how to make a donation when we promote this episode.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Is there any closing words or remarks or well wishes that you want to send out to our listeners?
I just want to thank you guys for having me, giving me a bigger audience. I really appreciate that. And thank you for doing that for the other folks as well. And just to the community, I always say this, never let your past dictate your future. And have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Milan. This has been amazing. Wow. That was a really amazing conversation with Milan.
Absolutely. I just love Milan. I love her personality, her energy, her spirit. Like you can feel it when you're in a room with her.
She is super passionate. And, when she was saying how she's 6'4", it's a 6'4" of beautiful passion. And, I'm 5'1.5", Justine. And when Milan and I would hug, it was a really cute difference.
Yes. But when I tell you, the lady is beautiful and always is just such good fashions and spirit. And she was talking about that pageant that one of her employees won, and just the level of support and rallying behind, that young lady, all of the ladies that came from Divas in Dialogue, was something so special and really just shows, the essence of her character and how she's really into this work.
She really mind, body, spirit. And, I was serious when I mentioned how being able to see her and her journey of becoming a tester and, becoming an employee at Miracle of Love, and just like seeing all of that from the sidelines has just been so amazing to see her growth and how much she has made an even more incredible impact in the community.
Absolutely.
Such a star. We love you, Milan.
We love you, Milan. Absolutely. She's a role model.
A star.
So it's time for a segment we call Southern Charm. Here we highlight the work of someone or an organization that is charmingly impacting the South. For this episode's edition of the Southern Charm, we highlight Unspoken Treasure Society, which was founded in June 2018 by Miss Regina Livingston. Unspoken Treasure Society is a 501c3 nonprofit with 3 chapters in Gainesville, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, and Atlanta, Georgia. Through the implementation of trauma-informed care, harm reduction, and restorative justice approaches, Unspoken Treasure Society is dedicated to finding solutions to the needs of the TGNC community. The organization provides peer support, community outreach, educational informational literature, HIV-centered testing and counseling, and connections to various base resources. Unspoken Treasure Society's goal is to see all Americans have the same opportunities, including affordable and fair housing, upward economic mobility, safer sex education, and freedom from violence and harm. In addition to making sure that every transgender and gender nonconforming voice of color can be heard and equally understood. To contact and learn more about Unspoken Treasure Society, you can visit their website at www.unspokensociety, which is one word, .org, and also on Facebook at Unspoken Treasure Society. So I actually had the pleasure of meeting Regina Livingston, who's over Unspoken Treasure Society, maybe 2 years ago in Atlanta when she was interested in doing a chapter. She actually, as a matter of fact, invited me to come down to Gainesville, Florida one time to do some community engagement with the community there. So if you ever meet Regina Livingston, she is a joy and she is very, very passionate about this work. So one thing about Unspoken Treasure Society, they have a very innovative approach to engaging with community. So they go all over the place, everywhere you can see them. And so I really want to uplift her. She is a newer organization. She is formerly incarcerated, a trans woman of color, and she's very, very open about her journey into opening up a 501c3 and really providing assistance to the community, especially within Gainesville, where there isn't a lot of visibility or organizations for TGCMB folks.
That's so cool that, you know, she opened up something in Gainesville, because when you think about Gainesville, you don't think, a lot of folks might not think about services available that are going to be affirming for trans and gender nonconforming folks. So it's just so amazing that she is creating that space for that community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we need it. We need it, especially within rural places, within the South that don't get a lot of traction or don't get a lot of attention. Me being someone from rural Georgia, community-based organizations were slim to none anyway, but especially those that targeted and that was for the transgender and gender nonconforming community, that was so non-existent. And so that it's very, very important, the work that she's doing and making sure that we are continuing to uplift her.
You know, I have not heard about Unspoken Treasure Society until this Southern Charm, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about them. So thanks for bringing them into this conversation.
Absolutely. Support Black trans folks and Black trans-led organizations.
Say that again. Support Black-led trans organizations.
Absolutely.
Well, Justine, it's been awesome getting to co-host with you again.
Absolutely. I always love it. You're such a joy. So I always love co-hosting with you.
It's a good time. You're also a joy and definitely a ray of sunshine. Well, thank you so much.
I am Justine Ingram.
And I'm Nicole Elenoff.
And we are signing off. Thank you for listening.